Going to replace the clutch on this 2000 Golf 2-liter MK4. I have the clutch and the clutch with the pressure plate, and then the flywheel and a few bearings and other stuff. I also have an engine support bar, and then a transmission jack somewhere here. Gotta find out where it is. To start, and remove the engine cover, and then support the engine with the engine support bar, so I can remove the what's that called? Can't remember the name. Like mounts, the engine mounts, so, and the transmission mounts, so I can get the transmission out to replace the clutch assembly. All right. Step one, take the engine cover off. It's a 10mm nut. I already loosened it. Just pop it off. Step two is to remove the battery. It's a 10mm nut. The negative. Now disconnect it. Make sure it doesn't fall off. And then the positive on this side. This is off. Both are off. And then the next step is to get the battery hold down, which is 13mm right there. And I have my impact ready. Oops, I need both the hands. So that's the one I'm gonna remove right now. The battery hold down, I'm gonna keep it together so that way I know when I put it back. So now I can get the battery out. It's heavy. All right, battery's off. Put it aside. The battery tray is 10mm bolts, 4 of them. Right there, you can see 3. One is behind that. Yeah, actually, you can see 4, all 4. And then this is held with a 2 10mm right behind it. I'm going to remove that first. Wiggle the tray out, and this harness is all hooked up. I need to just like tie it down here, move it a little bit so I can get to the starter right below that. I have the line to the vacuum secured with the lamp, so disconnect it. Then you have to probably disconnect on this side too, so just to store it like that. Goes from the vacuum motor to the air box. Next step is to get the mass airflow sensor. So you have to squeeze and pull on it. Sometimes it's really difficult. Give it a little wiggle, should come out. And then take the air box out and cover this with a glove or something so nothing gets in. This is not going to be a one-day project for me. It's late in the day, around 4 p.m. right now. So I'm going to just get this thing prepped. And then come back to this tomorrow or day after. I'm going to disconnect the clamp. Side. Should be able to wiggle it now. I need to use a hose pick to create that gap. Alright, be back. Took the cover off. Filter seems to be pretty decent shape. The nice thing is to get these bolts out and then remove there. Oh, I didn't have to. It just came off. Alright. Hooked up here. And there is motion sensor lights off. So here's the port. There's a leak. It's like a leak. We have to get a new one. Okay, that's off. I have never used these hose clamp pliers, and this is Astro. The item number is 9409A. So first time I'm gonna try. It was really hard with the plier. Now I'm able to lock it in place and able to wiggle this in. Now it's freely moves. I don't have to do anything. It's locked in place. I can move it around. Works pretty good. This is Astro Tools hose clamp plier. Finally got the airbox cover off with the master airflow sensor. It seems to be in pretty decent shape. Here's the hose removal tool. It's able to kind of go around and get it off. What's the next step? So to remove this, I gotta get this nut off, and then here is the reverse light signal wire. I need to disconnect that, and then get the cables off, the clutch cables. And here's the mount. There's the axle and a few. I'm gonna remove both the wheels, front wheels, but disconnect the axles on the transmission side and just push them aside. I'm not gonna remove them completely. And a few more things and should be ready to drop the transmission. I'm gonna use the engine support bar to secure it. And here is the support hook. You place a hook into this and then use the support bar. That way, when I disconnect the mount, the support bar will take the weight. Cover the air intake hose with the glove. So since it's going to take a few days for me to complete this, I don't want to leave it open. Let's take a look at the bolts. I have to remove this harness that's hanging on top of the starter, and then the shift linkage lid, that bolt, and of course there's two cables, and that one, and that for the bracket, and then there's one right here. Okay, keep the light. 1, 2, 3. That should get the bracket off. And then there for the bell house, there's one on the top right there, and then the other one is I think there is also ground cable right there. It's possible to see right there where the light is shining. Right there. Right there. And I think there are 2 bell house bolts on the top and then 3 at the bottom, maybe 5 or 6 in total. And that should allow me to, and then have these brackets taken off. This one, that needs to be removed, and then the transmission should be free. Now I'm going to remove the shift lever, all the cables, and also take this balancer to start. Let's take a closer look. Got to get this clip off. That's the clip. Just gently push it out. And lift and pull. Hasn't been taken in a while, so a little hard. Okay. Put back. Use the pry bar to gently lift and pry bar like this to gently lift and push it down, and it actually fell right there. Be back. There is the magnetic pickup tool. There we go. So it's down there. I can't find my tool. All right, found it. So it's right there. Here's the clip. Gotta lift on it like this. Pull it up and push it down, or actually pull it up and pull this up away from the bolt, and then push it up. It comes out. We have a magnetic tray to keep all these parts organized. I'll leave it in there. Okay. And next is to go closer again. So release. You gotta pull it all the way and twist, and then that kind of releases that, and you should be able to wiggle it out, take it off, pull it off, and then comes off like so, right there. Have it like this. So this one is like this. You pull it back and then make a quarter turn, looking like the anti-clockwise, like that. Locks it in place. So we have this in there, and the next is that one. The same technique. So pull it down and then a quarter turn to lock it. It locked in place. Now that's disconnected, and the next step is to remove this nut. Actually, I can leave it in place, but it'll be difficult when you remove the transmission, because this balancer might hit. So it's better to remove this from there. Take this nut off, and I think it's a 13, if I'm not mistaken. I have a 13. think that is the 13. Yes, it is. It's the 13. I'll take that off. That's off. 13. So now the whole unit should come off. There we go. Let's go back here. That's the balancer. Put them all together. Okay, please, now that is done, now I have access to take the bracket off that holds this harness, and then right below that is the starter, and followed by the bracket here that holds these cables. And then I can take the bracket off and tuck it away from the transmission. And this is the slave cylinder, the clutch slave cylinder that has two torque screws, torque bolts, and have to remove the reverse lights, the harness or the connector, and these two there's a bracket attached to the mount. And then here the power steering line that's connected to the transmission, and then the two bell housing bolts on the top, and then I can go underneath the car, lift it, and then I have to support the engine with a engine support bar secure to this. Then I can go to get the transmission from the bottom, and I have a transmission jack, and then I have a quick jack 7,000 pound unit to lift the car. So that's the next step. Now that the shift lever, bracket, everything is off, and the next step, I'm gonna remove this 13mm, 1, 2, and 1 behind this, and this the brake fluid coming to the slave cylinder, clutch slave cylinder. This one is the Torx, and disconnect the reverse light connector and the bell housing bolts. We are done. So this is a 13mm, 3 of them. That's the next step. So this connector, this one, came from right there. If you can see, I'm shining the light on it behind that bolt, right behind that. It's actually here. Let's see. To see. So the next step, I'm gonna remove these 13mm bolts holding the clutch cables. Second one. And then the last one is over here. Maybe we should use a wobble socket. I have this wobble adapter evaporated. I'm reaching the bolt. That's the last one holding this bracket. easier. So there's the last one. There. And then the bracket should be top right there. And tie it down with a zip tie away from the transmission. All right, that's done. I have that bracket lifted and tied down right here, just to the master's the brake fluid reservoir. I think it's okay, it's not that heavy. Just hold it in place. That's done. The next step is to disconnect the reverse light. Let me show a closer look. Right here is the connector for the reverse light signal, and then take this harness away and disconnect the starter, and then the right there is the bell housing bolt, one behind the starter, and then get this here's the bracket off, also power steering fluid line, and that's it. Let's take a closer look at the remaining bolts. That's the housing bolt one, and then here is the thing. Let's take it even closer look. That's the ground cable. It needs to come off. Looks like a 13. This one is a larger size, and then here are the starter ones, and then pretty much then the only remaining thing will be the slave cylinder, clutch slave, and then the bracket that holds the power steering line. That should allow me to go down to the bottom. Removing the ground cable connected to the ground cable connected to the transmission. Sitting there. You can't see. Oh, there. Came off. Okay. I found the bolt right here. There's the 13. Holds the ground cable. Comes from this harness. So there's the cable, ground cable coming from the starter harness. Go back the magnetic tray. Done with that. Ground cable is connected to a bolt that secures the bell housing, bell house to the engine. That's one. That's the second one. So next step is to remove those top two bolts. I think they might be 17 or 18. I'm gonna try 19. It's exactly 19. You're lucky. Switch to 19. See if I can give enough with this wobble. Don't know. There. I think this isn't long enough. I need a deep socket for that. I can use this motor. Yeah. I'm surprised that came off so easily. Not torqued properly. I had this clutch replaced by a mechanic about a couple of years ago. Didn't look like it was stocked to the spec. Right. There. This is a 19mm bolt. So I have other one, but that needs a long deep socket. Be back. Okay. I found a socket deep enough to go over there. Hopefully I'll leave it on. There. I need a wobble socket, a wobble extension, so I'm not getting a grip on this. I think I got it off. Yep. Also didn't feel that this had much torque. Gotta make sure there's the right amount of torque when I put it back together. So the top two bolts are in. It's a very unique bolt. So that's done. And moving on to the starter. That's the next step. Okay, now trying to get this harness off the starter. There's the 30mm. There it is. 30mm. Right there. And then the harness comes off. And then right behind it is the starter bolt, one on either side. I can see one on the top. Where's the other one? Well, that's next. Now, time to remove the signal wire. That's that black or the red wire going in, that connector. It's a squeeze connector. Push it down, top, bottom, and then pull it out. And then there's this weather seal protector for the positive connection going to the starter. You just pull it out. And then there's one bolt on the top, and looks like there is one on the bottom. So taking the top one off, and then we're pretty much done here, top of the engine bay.